All right. Hello, everyone. How are you today? It's Kay. So, this is the 14th of August, and this is on Saturday. So, this is going to be about psychology or mindset talk. Because the markets are closed, so every Saturdays on my YouTube channel, I talk about the psychology. But before starting that, once again, I just wanted to say thank you so much for those who are encouraging me to keep on what I do right now. I had some, short video, and explain my situation because I wasn't able to. I had to cancel the live stream on the other day. But thank you so much for these welcome messages and also heartwarming messages. I really encouraged, and I'm back now, and I feel much better. So let's get started for today's live session. So let me, so since this is a new Windows on PC, I just wanted to make sure that everything's working okay. And it looks like my voice is okay, and the screen is okay too. And connection is all good. All right, so let's start. Let me squeeze my face and start the session. So just as a quick disclaimer, this information today is basically based on my own understanding knowledge. So when you take trades, please do at your own risk. And also, if you can follow the guidelines rules on this live stream, that would be great, because after all, we're all here to learn. So yeah, and let's see. Let me say hi to everyone real quick. This is a relaxing Saturday. I went to the mall and the GTS, and here I am. So I hope you're having a great weekend on Saturday. All right, Asif and Anthony, Blackwater and Co, Robert, Bill and Bedsheet, Melanie and Michael, Ram, Learning Stuffs, and Romark, hi, and Preet and Susan. Thank you for joining, everyone. Great to see you. All right, so let me turn the slide on. So here is today's topic. It's about correct steps to trade mastery. And this time, this is based on my own experience. I don't really introduce some university researches today because I wanted to talk about this topic based on my own experience in the past. So let's start. So as usual, I take votes. So I took one vote on YouTube and Twitter. If you've seen this, I got these many posts on YouTube. I got 576 votes, and on Twitter I got 54 votes. So in total, I got more than 600 votes. So I think this is a good number for the feedback. So my question was, I get motivated the most when I blah blah blah. And let me read out the choices. And in case you haven't done this yet, please do in your head right now. I get motivated the most when I make profits, or belong to the right community, or when I am approved by someone, or when I achieve my dream. Which one do you feel motivated the most? And the result was a bit different between YouTube and Twitter. On YouTube, the most vote I got was make profits, 48%. But here on Twitter, achieve my dream is 44%. So this is interesting. The results are slightly different between the Twitter and YouTube. But one thing for sure is that the make profits and achieve my dream are the most. It's more than 50% on YouTube and Twitter. And then belong to a right community follows, and then approved by someone is the list. And this is reasonable. It's reasonable. And I've asked this question because this is actually based on the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So I think maybe you know this hierarchy of needs, Maslow's. because this is the basic of how we establish our confidence and also self-actualization. So we have to follow steps in lower and go upper hierarchy. So unless you have, so for example, unless you have physiological needs, you cannot have safety needs. And unless you have safety needs, you can have love and belongings and self-esteem and finally self-actualization. So actually these questions were based on this Maslow's hierarchy. Like make profit, the first choice, make profits is here, combine physiological needs and also safety needs, because most of the cases profits or like wealth or this money will resolve these problems, safety needs and physiological needs. Sorry. So make profit, it's at the bottom, and then belonging to our community. Is the next step. Love and belonging is the next step, and then approved by someone is esteem, self-esteem, respect, self-esteem, status, recognition, and strength and freedom. And then finally achieve my dream would be, in this case, self-actualization. So desire to become the one can be. So that's like dream come true. But the important point is that whichever pick, it's fine. Whichever pick is fine. If you don't pick achieve my dream, it doesn't mean that you don't meet all other criteria. It doesn't mean like that. This was my sample question, because today's topic is not really about this one. But I just wanted to share this map, this hierarchy, because this is very important to remember. Because so let's say sometimes I get the questions like I have, let's say, $1,000 in my hand, and that's the all money I have in the bank account, and should I invest this money into Forex or into stock markets or into cryptocurrencies? I get these questions a few times per week by email or comments, and my answer is no, because unless you meet the safety needs and of course physiological needs like air, water, food, shelter, sleep, and clothing, and so on, unless you're satisfied with this condition, you can't go forward. So my recommendation is you have to save money for living, and in terms of the money to trade, you have to put it aside. But until you can put it aside, you have to save money, and you can start small account. Maybe you can within this $1,000, you can maybe save let's say like $900 and only take trades on the $100 first. Like that. If you have $10,000 in your bank account, then save $9,000 and use $1,000 to take trades. But this $1,000 in that case shouldn't affect your life. So like I mentioned before, you have to have two pockets. One is for living, and another pocket is for trading, and they should be separated. You can't mix them up, because if you mix it up and when you lose, you are in danger of these basic needs. You are violating these physiological needs and safety needs. And that's why it is very, very important to remember, don't touch the saving account. So that is one of my messages. But here is today's main topic. It's about the correct steps to trade mastery. So by knowing that, how do you establish, or how do you take the correct steps to trade mastery? And this is also based on my experience, but basically there are 3 phases of learning tradings. And one is, of course, study. You have to study and gain knowledge and train different strategies. And then after that, you try to master, you gain experience with trial and error. And then finally, you simplify the strategy. So let me talk about these one by one. So the first step should be study. So unless you have knowledge, you can't take trades, you can't read charts. So you have to gain knowledge. And also, based on this knowledge, you have to experience. You have to take trades, experience. You have to know how to take trades, how to execute trades, how to exit trades, how to move the stop losses, how to trail the stop losses. You have to operate. You have to be able to operate these basic trading operations. And also knowledge, the price action knowledge, line, and also these basic knowledge you have to know. And after you know this, then you gain more knowledge, like you gain the knowledge of Ichimoku Kinko-hyo or any other indicators. You start to gain knowledge about these. But anyhow, the first step should be study, because unless you study, you can't do anything else. And after you study, you go to the next step, which is master the strategy. So let's say you gain the knowledge of Ichimoku Kinko-hyo. Let's say you know about Kumo, you know about Kijun Sen Tenkan-sen, and you know about Chikou span. You gain these basic knowledge, and then you master this. You master the knowledge. By gaining more experience, by practice, you can backtest, you can forward test on the real moving market, and also you can trade every day or every week. You trade and gain experience. That's one way to master the strategy. And also, trial and error is also important. You have to know the market is, if the market reverses, what to do. If the market goes to a direction, then what to do. You have to trial and error process. This is also the part of the process. There was a conversation with the GTS members today, just earlier, and she said that we don't like to use. She doesn't like to use the word lose or lose, but she likes to use the word what was the word? Sorry, I forgot. Instead of saying loss, she says drawdown. So these wordings also affect psychology. So instead of saying loss, you can say drawdown, and that can correct your mindset in healthy condition. So, but that is also part of the process of experience. So so that is the second step. Master the strategy. And strategy means not only like Ichimoku or these trading strategies, but also strategy in mindset and strategy in risk management. And after you've done this second step, then the last step is simplify. And I think this is the most important step, is to simplify your strategy. So after you gain knowledge and experience, and then you simplify knowledge and simplify on what you do. So let's say you follow the strategy, and so let's say you follow strategy and you have lots and lots of knowledge about, let's say, Ichimoku, and then you have experience. When the market retraces, what to do you know already, and when the market trends towards a direction, then what to do, and you know when to take profit, when to take that drawdown. You know all these knowledge and experience, and then afterwards you simplify. So you can write the memo. For example, what I do is I write down a memo after I gain knowledge, whenever I learn something new, and whenever I have experience on this new knowledge, I write down on what I learned by my experience, and I try to simplify. If what you wrote, what you write in terms of strategies in the long sentence, then that means you don't master yet. You have to put it very simple format in maybe few words. In few words, if you can explain your strategy in few words, then that means you have simplified a strategy. So when you watch my live streams, when I talk about Ichimoku, I think the way I present Ichimoku is very simple. And that's because I have knowledge about Ichimoku, and also I have experience. If I only have Ichimoku knowledge, but if I haven't experienced yet, then I can't explain simply. Or if I don't have any knowledge, but if I only use Ichimoku, 5 lines by my own experience, I can't explain it either. But if I have knowledge and experience, then you can simplify on what you do. So this simplification is very important and also very powerful, because it's like how to say, like when you have a soup, or let's say soup is not a good analogy. Maybe when you cook curry, for example, when you cook curry, like you boil the water and you put the ingredients and also curry paste you put in, and once you boil, it's still a bit watery, but as you boil more, then it gets thicker and thicker, the taste gets thicker and thicker, and it gets more tasty. So it's like that concept. So you have this knowledge experience, but you have to narrow down and very much how to say, like simplify in that sense, and then you just get the core of this knowledge on your experience. And if you can explain like that, then that means you have really mastered the strategy. And also, you really know what you do when you come to that stage. So simplifying the knowledge and experience on what you do is the last step. But actually, there's another step. There's the next step for this. And the next step is back to step 1. So back to step 1. So after you can express in the very simple way on what you do, then you gain knowledge again. You gain knowledge again, you read the books again, you read the Ichimoku book again, and you experience again. And then you go to step 2 and step 3, and then come back to step 1. So because I think that this is a very important step if you want to be a successful trader or successful at anything. This step is very important. Sometimes I've seen that the people, after gaining knowledge of Ichimoku, people leave. People just satisfied with this knowledge, and they don't improve. But this improvement process is very important. And in order to improve your strategy, you have to experience. But not only that, you have to simplify on what you do. And after you become simplified, then you gain the knowledge again. So you read the books again, and you read some another articles again. You can watch somebody else talk about Ichimoku also. And then these bits and parts start to make more sense to you. And this is based on my experience. When I first saw Ichimoku Kinko Hyo 5 lines, I thought it is very complicated. And I have learned Ichimoku Kinko Hyo at that time, not from the original books, but I was reading some books that talk about Ichimoku in Japanese. And also I was attending some seminars that teaches Ichimoku. And that was very interesting. I thought it's very interesting. So I started to use it based on this knowledge, initial knowledge. but I got losses. So I thought that Ichimoku doesn't work, and that's why. And also Ichimoku is a bit too complicated, too many lines. So sometimes I was shifting Kumo. To like 52 forward, or 52 forward, or I have tried 9 or 17 forward the Kumo too. Or I was shifting Chikou span also in Kihon Tsuchi number or any numbers, and shifting Kijun Sen, Tenkan Sen. I was also adjusting all the parameters of the Ichimoku to be able to understand the market in a way that I want to see the market. But that was a mistake. So after changing all these parameters, I figured that Ichimoku doesn't work, so I left the Ichimoku. And then I lost my account. And after that, I came back to this pure price action. I read some books about the pure price action and lines, supply and demand, these basics I learned. And then, after some experience of half a year, I came back to Ichimoku again. And then, Ichimoku lines made more sense to me. That was a very interesting aha moment for myself. But after these losing trades for the 6 month and discouragement myself, I came back to Ichimoku because the indicator was there, and I remember about Ichimoku. That was interesting. So I applied Ichimoku on the chart with the price action, and I was like, wow, it makes more sense to me now. And then I read the book again, and then the books made more sense to me, and then I got so interested in Ichimoku, and then I bought the original books of Ichimoku, and I read them again, and everything started to make more sense. And then I went to the library, National Library in Japan, Tokyo, and I read another original books in the library. But here's the point. After I read all these original books of Ichimoku, I got confused again. I got confused because these are like conceptual. The way Goichi Hosoda talks about Ichimoku is very conceptual. It's like you're reading the novel, or you're reading like like a very conceptual, like a philosophical book or something. So I got confused, and I was actually back and forth between the original books and the real movie markets while I'm taking trades in the real money. And little by little, small parts made sense to me. So I can remember the first line that made sense to me was the Kijun Sen. I know how important the Kijun Sen is. Kijun Sen was before, but after I experienced the Kijun Sen, then I was able to understand the essence of Kijun Sen and also Tenkan Sen. Because originally Ichimoku was created only Tenkan Sen, Kijun Sen. There were no other lines. There were no Kumo, there was no Chikou span. There was only Tenkan Sen, Kijun Sen in Ichimoku. But for supportive purpose, Goichi Hosoda put Kumo and Chikou span. And that's why they are called spans. Kumo is composed of Senkou span A, Senkou span B, and Chikou span. So spans are supportive lines to Tenkan Sen and Kijun Sen. So in that sense, if you master Tenkan Sen, Kijun Sen, you know more about Kumo and you know more about the Chikou span. So I got this idea after reading the original books a couple of times while taking trades in the real movie market. And then after that, Kumo made more sense to me, and Chikou span made more sense to me. So this is the step I took to master the Ichimoku. So study, master, and simplify, and then study, master, simplify, and study, master, simplify. So at least I have done these steps more than 20 times or so, maybe 30 times or so, because I have read the original books at least 20 times more, or 25 times or more. I have read these books. So while I take trades in the real market, I learn from the real movie market, and I learn from my mistake. I mean, I learn from these drawdowns or losses, and I figure the way to improve my trades. But simplification is also the part of the process. So this was my experience, and if you are using or if you're studying some indicator, if it's not Ichimoku, then if you're studying about the moving average, Fibonacci, if you're studying about RSI, MACD, or whatever indicators, whatever strategies you're studying it, you have to follow this step. The more you have these steps, the more you have wisdom in yourself, and that becomes a true strategy of yourself. So when I talk about the strategy, like it's for myself, strategy is like a combination of entry and exit timings by indicator or some charts, the confirmation from the chart, and that's only one part. And other part should be the psychology, mindset, and also risk management is also important. So strategy should be composed of these three parts, and that's why on Saturdays I talk about this psychology or money management. And also during the day, I also talk about, during the week, I also talk about these risk management and psychological management too, because this is very important. I mean, it should be, they should be traded as a strategy by itself. And on top of this strategy, there should be an experience. So, yeah, so that's I think a very important topic to talk about. So, yeah, so if you can first identify which stage you're in, whatever you're studying right now, you can identify which step you're in, whether it's studying time or mastery step, or if you think you master it, then try to simplify on what you do. Like I mentioned before, like I said before, you can talk to your daughter or your son about Kumo or Ichimoku. Like, let's imagine that like a 5-year-old or a 6-year-old daughter came to you and asked about what is Kumo, and how would you answer? Can you answer? If you can answer it, then you mastered it, because you can simplify the knowledge. But if you still come up with the idea of answers of like complex answer, then you have to simplify the way I explain. So yeah, so that's actually the topic that I wanted to talk about today based on my experience. So that's a correct step, I think, to trade mastery. But I think this is for everything. Rome is not built in one day, so I think this journey never ends. And what's also interesting is that the market also changes every year and every month, or every day it changes. So you have to be adapted, you have to be adaptable, or you have to be flexible to this changing market. So even if you think you master one thing, it might not gonna apply, it might gonna work tomorrow. And I think that is the most fun part of the trades, because you have to constantly keep improving and keep refining or keep adapting your strategy onwards. So my next challenge after came to Dubai is I will start to trade on this stock markets and indices thinking starting from the October. So that will be my new challenge. I know that the market move is exactly different from the Forex, but yeah, that will be, actually that is my new challenge, and that's the part of the reasons why I came to Dubai. So I will run this learning cycle on these new markets and see how it goes. All right, so yeah, that's pretty much it for today's topic. So from now, let me come back to some comments and yeah, let's say hi to everyone. So today's Saturday. Thank you for stopping by on this relaxing Saturday today. Yeah, in terms of the markets, let me talk about tomorrow, because tomorrow is going to be a forecast on markets. So I will screen the pairs, Forex pairs and gold and WTI oil, and also indices I will cover tomorrow. Because if I start to cover today, I might not gonna have enough time to cover the topic. So yeah, let me do this tomorrow. All right, good to see you everyone. Thank you for joining. And thank you for all the messages here. Aditya says, Mr. K, why have I calculated target N several times, always further than target B? Yeah, sometimes target N can be further than target V. Yeah, depending on how the N wave forms, it changes. All right, let's see. All right, thank you for joining. Great to see you. Okay, Daluk says, when I saw that in 1 hour chart and 4 hour chart there is gold cross, I put buy and hold. I love Ichimoku. Okay, that's simple. That's a simple strategy. Yeah, that double cross confirmation also works on Ichimoku. Like when you find gold cross on multiple time frames, that also works too. But the gold cross should be happening above the Kumo, and dead cross should happen below the Kumo. Yeah, Asif, you got it right. Yeah, that's Kaizen, yes. Yeah, I think you put this message before I put the slide. I put this slide next step. So yeah, it looks like we're on the same page. All right. Yeah, good to see you. Thank you for joining. All right. So yeah, that's it for today's live stream. So once again, it was very nice to see you, everyone. And I hope you have a great rest of the weekend. And looks like the number of COVID cases increasing worldwide, in Japan too. In Tokyo itself also, it's marking very high right now. It's over 5,000 cases in Tokyo only. So it is increasing so much. So I hope yourself and your family and friends, everybody's safe and healthy condition. I pray from Dubai. So yeah. So once again, thank you for joining, and I will see you on the next one. And until then, please stay healthy and stay gold, all right? Bye for now. Mata ne. I say mata ne, and that means see you in Japanese. I get this question sometimes, so I say this again. So I say mata ne. Bye for now.